Yo, what is happening? Welcome back to Rule of Two Review, guys. And I know I said I wasn't going to do this, but it's time to do it. Let's talk a little bit more about the Nintendo NX. So what we're talking about today is something that you're probably familiar with and was probably very prepared for. The last couple of days, a couple of industry insiders, some analysts have come out with some reported information about the Nintendo NX, and this isn't the first time these rumors have showed up, but apparently it's seeming more and more likely that the Nintendo NX might actually be two separate units, one handheld, one traditional home TV console, and that this year, in 2016, Nintendo would release the portable version of the NX, whatever that really means and turns out to be, and sometime next year in 2017 would be the time that they actually release and reveal the home console version. So this is information that when, I first kind of discussed it on one of my videos many months back, I think maybe my 2-year anniversary Q&A video, I mentioned how it's not something that really gets me initially super excited. I know that there's a lot of people who think the whole hybrid idea of, a console that's both a handheld and a home TV console is really exciting and could be like the cool new step in evolution in gaming. I recognize that some people look at it that way, but for me, it's never really jumped out at me as something so terribly exciting, and that's still true even as these rumors are resurfacing. And granted, they're resurfacing closer to when we know Nintendo is going to actually show us the NX, so they are feeling more potentially concrete and legitimate, which is really crazy. But even though it's still not the most exciting idea, I find it interesting, and as I said even when I discussed it before, at the end of the day, I would still trust Nintendo to probably take this idea and do something very great with it. I mean, I've always loved their home consoles, and obviously they're still the king of handhelds, so when you think about a company who's been so traditionally great with these things, putting those two ideas together and somehow making this one uniformed hybrid system, you'd have to think that they would do pretty well with it, and ultimately, even though I don't love this idea, I certainly don't hate it either, so I'm willing to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. If in fact this is true, of course, this is just another in a long list of rumors. I always have to give that disclaimer, and I know some people don't like talking about rumors, but I couldn't help it, man. I heard this, I saw this information, I thought about it, and I like talking about the NX. I like talking about these rumors, and it seems like you guys dig it too, so hopefully you don't mind. This is pretty much just what I want to do when these rumors come about. And, it's the curious case here is how they would split up these two releases, and they would be two completely separate releases. This wouldn't be one boxed unit where you buy the NX box and inside is the console and the handheld, and they work together. It's literally apparently rumored to be two completely separate launches and separate releases, and there really could be something to that, and I think what gets me excited about this isn't so much the idea, because like I said, the idea, until I see it in action, I could kind of take it or leave it, but what I think could be really neat is how this could change the console release game in the future. I mean, this is an unprecedented idea, but it also really comes down to how they work together. I mean, part of me wonders, and maybe this is why it's never been the most exciting, revolutionary idea to me when I first started hearing about it, and even now today, part of what I wonder is it really going to feel like both of these units are the NX? Are they the same beast? Are they the same actual piece of hardware and piece of tech? Or is it really just going to end up being and feeling like, well, here's just a brand new handheld, and then a couple of months or a year later, well, here's our brand new console. I really can't tell what this is going to feel like, and obviously that's why we need to know more information. We need to know, A, is this true? Which it certainly might not be, and B, if it is true, what is it really like to have a console that's two separate units, and that might even release at different times? Like, if it was coming in the same box, which is not what this rumor is, but let's say let's say the rumor is part true, and that it is a handheld and it is a console. If they came together, it's like I could understand and maybe sort of picture and piece together what this idea might actually be like. Like, oh, okay, it's like what the Wii U is, only the touchscreen and the screen gamepad controller is literally its own unit and its own device and its own game-playing piece of tech, and you could take it on the go. Like, just picture the Wii U now, and you've got it hooked up to your TV, and you're playing games on it like normal, and then it's like, oh, I'm going to go somewhere. I'm just going to take my gamepad with me, and I can continue to play different games and do whatever else I need to do, and then come home and continue them back on the big screen and just go on like everything's hunky-dory. So when I think of that idea, and I think of maybe the NX releasing this way all in one box, it's like, okay, I can maybe see the idea, and that gets me really excited. But again, going back to this idea that they would release separately, it changes the game big time. So, like I was saying, is it going to feel like it's really just a new handheld and a new console, and they're kind of just like packaging them in this whole NX sort of moniker just to sort of make it feel like it's all part of the same thing? Having a console and a handheld that just work together and talk to each other is a cool thing, and that actually makes me very excited. But it's not as revolutionary if they're really just two separate devices. Your Nintendo 3DS and your Wii U can kind of talk together. Obviously, Sony really tried with the PlayStation 4 and the Vita to make them talk together, and they do that. So it's like, okay, that's happened before, it's been okay. Maybe that's just what they're trying to do. But it all remains to be seen, because they're trying to, the rumors are trying to tell us that it's the same thing. It's the same unit. It's like if you buy your car, but it has no tires on it, and you have to wait till you go buy the tires, buy the actual wheels themselves. And it's like, well, are they really two completely separate things? Or are they just the same thing that you just have to buy separately? That's kind of the way, that's an analogy that is sort of how my brain is perceiving this whole rumor. But I kind of tangented a little bit. What I did want to say is, what does make me excited is the possibility that this could sort of change the way we look at console releases. This would be unprecedented, like I was just saying. This would be a whole different way for someone to not only create, their next generation hardware or a brand new home video game console, but it could also change the way they release and the way we look at, playing our games on different units that talk to each other. And is this really a situation where we just play games on our TV and then we decide to take them on the go and continue the same game, and then we come home and we continue the same game again, only back on the TV, And I wonder if that's even as revolutionary as some people think it might be, or some people want it to be. Even Nintendo would want it to be. It's a really interesting scenario, I don't really have too much more to talk about on this subject than kind of really that. It's just weird. I think this idea is weird. I do want to hear from you guys. I think that there is a pretty large contingent of people out there that think this could be like this really great thing. My stance is that it could be a great thing, but only if Nintendo shows me how and why it's going to be a great thing. On paper, this concept is like I said, take it or leave it to me. It doesn't get me excited. It doesn't turn me off either, but it's just like, even coming from Nintendo, it's like, I don't know the benefit here. But we of course need to wait and see, because Nintendo is the king of weird ideas that don't make sense on paper until you actually see it in action or try it in your hand. And that is why I will still ultimately maintain faith in Nintendo, that if there's any truth to this, that it'll probably still be executed pretty well. Nintendo's great about that stuff. They're great with surprises. I trust them with innovation. This is a very innovative idea. But I still do, and I'm trying not to make this video negative, guys, so I'm fumbling over my thoughts because I don't want to be super negative about it. But I do need to come back to one other point. I have to say that even though I'm willing to kind of give this a chance and play the wait-and-see game, I have to say that I really hope that it's not true. If I had to be truly honest with myself as a Nintendo fan and as a gamer, and truly honest with you guys, my audience, I don't want it to be this. I want it to just be a console. Like, you're going to do some kooky ideas. Nintendo's always innovating in weird ways with their controllers and stuff. Do that. Continue to do that. I loved the Wii and the Wii remote. I love the Wii U and the gamepad. So I want to say I love the NX and whatever kind of cool thing they're doing there, provided it still does have a foundational, basic video game console experience, like I kind of mentioned in my last video about Kimishima's interview. So like I kind of want that stuff to happen. I don't necessarily want this weird hybrid thing. I don't want two releases, and if they're going to release something this year, it's like, I don't know if this handheld's going to do anything. Is this handheld going to feel like a new console to people? Is that what Nintendo wants people to feel or think? It's really tough, and I mean, again, I'm reminding you guys almost as much as myself here how much this is just a rumor, and this could be so far from the truth. But I, of course, like to always discuss these things if, in fact, they were true. If, in fact, they turn out to be true, and what it could mean for Nintendo, for the NX, for gaming. Because if something like this does happen, and if it takes off in any way, it could really disrupt and shake up the industry again, just like Nintendo did with motion control in the Wii. Love it or hate it, it absolutely changed the face of gaming, and it even changed the face of the gamer. That was the whole big thing with the Wii and Nintendo during that era was the casual gamer and the whole brand new market Nintendo found for gaming for a while. Obviously, those people have now left the gaming hobby again, which is totally fine by me and probably a lot of you guys, but for a time, Nintendo found a whole new market, and they made crazy amounts of money and saw awesome success. So, would that and could that happen again here with this kind of idea? I don't know. I don't want to tangent any more than I already have in this video. I feel like I'm kind of all over the place, but this is just such a weird rumor. And, I'm going to maintain it doesn't get me excited. I would prefer for it not to be true. I would just prefer a brand new console and just let that be what it's going to be. But I am still willing to believe in Nintendo to take an idea like this and make it work, make it surprising. So if it's true and Nintendo shows it to us and it turns out to be super cool and get everyone really pumped and make me excited, that's great. I won't be super surprised because Nintendo's so good at that. It's like they're so good at surprises, they almost can't even surprise me anymore. So it's like a weird oxymoron there. There's no way for them to actually do the thing they're super good at. But what they are for sure also super good at is making great games and making great hardware and stuff that always entertains me as a Nintendo fan. So whatever happens with this rumor, with the NX, with all this crazy kooky stuff, and I'm sure they're going to be showing us in the next couple of months, guys, whatever happens, I'm willing to still be excited. Very curious, kind of confused, but still excited. So, I don't know. Those are my thoughts, on this crazy rumor. Again, just a rumor. It's so weird. This is almost so weird, it's harder for me to believe than most Nintendo rumors, but like I was just saying, that also makes it just as believable at the same time. That's what Nintendo does. They keep us on their toes, and god damn it, that's just why I love them. No matter what happens, that's the kind of thing that just makes me excited, and Nintendo always keeps you guessing, and you gotta love a company that will always keep you guessing and keep everyone on their toes and just, chomping at the bit for more information and more news and surprises. So that's what's going on with this little bit of rumors. A couple of my short, quick thoughts on the whole idea. What do you guys think? Do you like the hybrid console handheld idea? Are you not so much into it like me? Do you absolutely despise it? I don't despise it. I just don't really care about it. Lots to talk about there. I'm really curious what you guys have to say about this. I know everyone loves talking about the NX, myself included. So that's what's going on, guys. Of course, share your thoughts. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. And this is Rob of Rule of Two Review. I'll catch you guys next time on another video.